Hello, ladies and gentlemen, or should I just say Ben?
Did the countdown stutter a bunch for you?
No, because
It
it's
went from
live on my side.
it went
So,
from 30 and then jumped to 24, then like paused until it hit 8 and then like
oh,
flashed 8
no.
and there's no music.
Oh, I don't know. It played fine for me. We'll have to let the audience. Hey, how'd that go, Ben? Oh, there's
Um,
Brian as well. We're up to 2. Actually, StreamYard says 0 is watching. So,
that's
if
what
you
we
guys could actually tune in, please.
zero
Oh,
zero is what we
welcome.
deserve.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your favorite live stream that takes place at 7 p.m. on a Thursday, unless you're a Chris Riley Patreon, and that's probably where you are. Well, thanks, everybody. Good night. Oh,
Bad night.
3D Medic Vince is here as well. Oh,
Uh,
whew. Brian said, "What happened to the stream?" James just said that the countdown was stuttery.
it's just a stuttering.
If you want, we can watch it again. I'm just kidding. I'm not really gonna do
Things are a mess over here. I think that blob fell off on its own, but now I'm trying to figure out where it went.
Oh yeah, because you gotta collect that.
If I take the 2 fallen over prints, I can kind of turn them into one print that's almost big enough to. Anyways, I'm taking the textured sheet off now, and I'm just gonna hope for the best with my torn smooth one.
Brian said, "See what weekdays do, guys." I'm not sure.
I think he's saying that our viewership is down because we're not streaming on Sundays anymore.
Yeah, well, Sundays. Unfortunately, Sundays are out. I can never go
Oot.
back to Sundays.
I'm in the
Um,
I'm in the same boat, and Saturdays were never an option.
yeah, no. I mean, Sundays may come back around for me eventually, but if this youth ministry thing takes off, then no. If it's a complete disaster, then I'll find something else to do. But um, I've been a friend of mine used to always say I'm as busy as a one-legged man in a kicking contest. Can I still say things like that, or is that not?
No. Uh, is it just my butt?
What's that?
Oh, sorry. I thought my butt was showing on camera. And I was just like doodly doo,
uh,
butting my way on
but
over to
anyway,
you.
no, it's time-wise, it's really crazy. Xander said we should try Mondays because then it's that it's early in the week and I won't be too tired. But that's not necessarily true.
That's my
Uh,
that's my secret cap. I'm tired all the time.
yeah, ditto. So, whew. No, there's been a lot going on here at Fun King Lodge. Um,
Having a good time at the Fun King Lodge.
yeah. I mean, I guess it's not really giving anything away. So the Dodge frame, I sold the cab and the bed off of the donor Dodge,
The Donor Dodge.
and the frame has been sitting on my car trailer for like a year, or however long it's been since I sold the cab and bed, which was a long time ago. I mean, like it was in the garage, and the Ford was in its way, like getting it out. I had to push my truck way forward, all the way up to the bench, to be able to squeeze the Dodge out to get rid of the cabin bed. But but that's all fine and dandy. Brian, no one would be the best time in the middle of the day, Monday at like 2:30. I have to work, man. I got a job.
I keep trying to make YouTube my full time career, but I can't get enough people behind it.
Yeah, I want it to be my full-time career too, just not this channel.
But I mean, if somebody's like, hey, we're willing to sponsor you, $150,000 a year for Fun King 3D, you'd be like, okay, that'll pay for my automotive channel.
Yeah, no doubt. Sean Butler has joined us. Hello, Sean. Sergio is slid in too. He said too late. You're talking about like tonight being too late, like 7 p.m. being too late. I feel that's for sure. But it's nice to be able to have a little time. I got done with work today. There's a whole bunch of story I can tell that goes with that. But I got done with work today and decided that I was going to head out to the garage and get something done. Oh, Brian said he was kidding. So I this weekend I'm getting ready to pull the T-bird out of the dirt. It hasn't happened yet, but this past weekend I got my impound lot cleaned up enough where I'm going to be able to get it out of there. It's very sunken into the dirt, but it's going to be all right. I'm going to get it out of there. And then I had hooked the trailer up on Sunday. Yeah, on Sunday
Sunday,
and pulled
Sunday, Sunday,
Sunday.
Sunday,
I pulled the trailer
Sunday.
around to the garage. Gene, holy crap, brother! Gene throwing down 100 US dollar Renos.
Oh
Oh,
darn! Thank you, kind sir.
and there's the chime. Thank you, Gene. It is greatly, greatly appreciated.
And to think Glenn was like, I don't even want to stream tonight. Nobody's gonna be.
I'm just
Not when we're
thinking,
competing with the Chris Riley.
I'm going to get to go YouTube full time before you do. Oh, brother, thank you so much for that. It's really, really appreciated. Now Mad Mike loses his banner. I did throw it up there right away because he threw down a donation right at the end of the stream last week. So now I'm discombobulated. I'm not. I have to give Gene the entire stream. The stream now belongs to Gene. Oh, thank you, brother. But yeah, so I hooked the trailer up on Sunday and drug it around, backed it into the garage, and prepped the frame, take the frame off of the trailer. Well, the brakes are seized on it, and Sean said, "No, I can get a dozen eggs. I think I can get a half dozen for that."
Quit egging him on.
Oh, Sergio said no after the one-legged man because I said it. Then I asked if I was allowed to. I was just telling you what a friend of mine used to say.
You have a friend?
But
you got
yeah,
a friend in me.
So luckily my neighbor had walked over, and so I backed the trailer up. Like, okay, so it's the neighbor next door, and I was actually I was going to back the frame down up against his fence. I have to tell you that part because it's the funny part of the story. But so we go to get the frame off the trailer. It's a frame, and it's got 3 wheels, so it should have just rolled off the trailer. But the brakes are all rusted and seized up on it from sitting out in the weather for a year without it being covered up. So I said, well, we'll just use the winch. I have these big J hooks like you see on a tow truck, and I hook one of those over the back of the trailer with the sheave, and I run the cable to that and then back up to pull things off the trailer. Works really well. So I go to do that, and then I realize that I don't have a battery for the trailer. The battery went bad on the trailer from sitting for so long without being maintained. So I ran.
I ran so far away.
I ran 1/0 cable down the frame rail of the truck to run the winch, but I haven't equipped the trailer yet to be able to accept the Anderson plug for the 1/0 cable. So I have no way to power the winch. And I'm like, this is just nuts. So I ended up using I made a quick lead to hook into the truck, and then we used jumper cables to get it over to the winch. But I'm using the winch and I'm winching the frame off, and just as it makes it over the dovetail, the brakes finally free up and the thing takes off, zooms down the trailer and smashes into his privacy fence, knocks 2 boards out of the privacy fence. Now the fun part is that privacy fence was knocked down in a hurricane like 4 or 5 years ago, and it blew into my yard, and it laid there for like 2.5 or 3 years. he kept saying, well, I'm gonna put it up. I'm gonna put it up. And he never did. I finally drug it to the burn pile and burned it because it was so rotted. So when it flies down the trailer and hits his fence, and it's just like
His recently-ish repaired fence is what you're
well, I
saying.
mean, like this was the part that didn't get blown down,
Oh,
but
I see.
it just like it slammed into the fence and knocked the two board. And I stopped and I like very seriously looked at him. I'm like, dude, I'm really sorry. I'll get some screws and fix that. He's only got like maybe 12 feet of fence left.
Before or after you knocked over a bunch?
No. From after the hurricane knocked it down.
Hmm.
So, and it probably would have knocked that whole thing over, except for he's got a carport right there that's holding it up. So, but yeah, good time. So that the trailer's finally off, or the frame is finally off the trailer. I have the trailer in the garage right now. I pulled it around this afternoon because it needs some help. It's getting old. Not as old as me, but it's getting old. I put a new deck on it just before I parked the Dodge on it for a year. In fact, the deck was so rotted, like the middle boards, if you stepped on them, you'd fall right through the trailer.
Not me. I'm light as a feather.
And from the Dodge being on there, when we were unloading the Dodge off of the trailer, the board was bending so badly, like it had popped the screws and stuff right out. So it was a catastrophe. So right when lumber prices dropped back down to somewhat normal, I went out and bought all the boards to put a new deck on the trailer. In fact, Sean helped me with that, and so now it's sat outside for a whole year, which it's fine now. Now the boards are dry enough that they can be treated, which I would love anybody in the audience, if you have a suggestion of what you feel is the best thing to treat. It's pressure treated lumber, but in Florida that doesn't hold up very long. I'm curious to know what you would suggest for sealing that wood, because I got some ideas, but I want to see what everybody else says. And then but the wiring is so messed up on the trailer because it's old, so I'm working on that as well. I ordered, you guys know what Anderson connectors are. They're also called forklift connectors.
Oh, Anderson, that's from The Matrix.
Yeah, yes.
Mr. Anderson. I hear you want to make a connection.
Mr. Anderson. I have a better deal for you. How about I give you the, never mind.
The clamps.
So yeah, the back of my truck now has a 175 amp. It's rated for 175 amps at 600 volt. Anderson connector, and then I'm going to have one on the trailer with a small jumper. That way I can do away with it and it's not just hanging out on the trailer. And that will run directly to the battery terminals. So as I drive, it'll charge the battery on the trailer, but also when I use the winch, it'll use the trailer battery and also the truck's batteries. Brian said Rhino liner. I've thought about that.
But it won't use the Assault with battery.
Or go get that composite decking. I can't afford composite decking. That stuff is ridiculous for the thick enough stuff to hold the weight of a car. But I just heard the first sign that your audio is failing, or James' mic is rubbing on his beard, or am I the only one hearing it?
It may have been this.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope my audio is not failing. But anyway, so I decided, and I looked into doing this back when I put the deck on the trailer, because it would have been so much easier to do it without a deck on the trailer, to run all the wiring and stuff. But it was at the time afford the wood or afford the wire, because copper is the new gold. So, but that brings me to another wonderful conversation. For those of you who know about trailers and trailer wiring, there's 2 wires that run to each tail light, one for the brake light and turn signal, and one for the running light. And of course, the running light has to break out to any marker lights, etc. But why do they not make a trailering harness that has 2 brown wires? which would be your running lights, which have to go to each side. Because if you run it down and across, you still have to bring it back up for the marker lights. So in my case, it has to run down each side. So then I have to run a green. I think the green is the right side and the yellow is the left side, I think. And then also a brown to each side, tapping the brown because I have marker lights in the front corners and then one in front of each wheel well and behind each wheel well, and then the tail lights, and then the 3 markers in the middle of the back because it's over 80 inches wide. But they don't make a harness that's bonded, a yellow and brown and a green and brown. And then what's even worse, the harnesses that you can buy they're usually 4-wire. They put a white wire in there too, which is your ground on a trailer, which makes no sense to me, being that automotive ground is always black. But black is power in a 7-pin. I don't know. I think the guys that made trailer wiring were doing crack. But so on the 4 cable bonded, they don't put the brown one in the middle. It's not like green, brown, yellow, so that you could split off these two and then take another section and split off these two. Oh, no. They do green and yellow and then brown. It makes no sense. Sean said, unless the trailer is over a specific length, it does not require marker lights. No idea what the length requirement there is. I don't actually know what the length requirement is either, but like my boat it's like a 15.5-foot little bow rider. That trailer's got marker lights in the middle on the side. So that's long enough to need them. My car trailer, when I bought it, had the marker lights. They're kind of middle of the deck. It's a 18-foot deck, and it had the marker lights in the middle. I added the ones in front and behind the rear, or in front of and behind the wheel wells, because otherwise I can't see the trailer behind the truck. Like I have to lean way over with the mirrors to be able to see those lights when I'm towing at night. And that's the only way I know that the trailer is still back there, because I can't feel it. If it fell off, I wouldn't even know it fell off. So, but you're missing the point, Sean. Why doesn't somebody make? So I think what I'm gonna end up having to do is just buy rolls of wire and make my own harnesses. Just put it in split wire loom, and somebody just appease me and be like, you're right. They should absolutely make a harness that has 2 brown wires, or you should be able to buy, green and brown bonded and yellow and brown bonded, because I don't actually need the 4-pin connector. I have the 7-pin RV style connector on my trailer because it also has to charge the battery.
I totally agree with you. Your wire should be available in whatever bondage you need. Yes,
bondage wire is important. So Tom Lama has popped in.
I'm also debating getting a new 3D printer, because I've seen how fast and how clean some of the new printers are for printing, and I'm like, these projects that
about the Bamboo.
The Bamboo is top of the list, although I'm waiting to see how, because I do see a lot of complaints printed online about various aspects. So I don't want to be an early adopter that gets, a bad time.
Yeah. Brian said my trailer's missing 2 things: automatic tongue jack and strobes. I thought about putting the automatic tongue jack on it, but I don't hook and unhook it often enough. Strobes would be fun though.
So I'm sure everybody's noticed by now, but this is an impromptu project that I wasn't planning on making. After the shuttle PC went, like, I'm gonna say viral for what my channel is, I started getting
done well. Yes,
it's at 11,000 views, and it got published in Tom's Hardware. It got published in Red Shirts Always Die, Hot Hardware, and PC Gamer.
PC Gamer, yeah.
So I had a bunch of requests for a Raspberry Pi version. So this little adorable thing, which is granted much larger than a Raspberry Pi case has to be, but I decided I want to keep as much of the original functionality as possible. This is the Shuttle Pi.
Let me. I'm a full screen you so that.
And originally, since the front's basically empty, I was going to put a data action figure in, and I bought the smallest one I could, and he is in a sitting position there, so you know he can still be in the video. We'll just there we go, like having a good time with Mr. Data, just hanging out, just leaving my data lying around. Yeah. So.
Oh, Sergio said I totally retired my trailer because I added other lights. I thought what? But he meant rewired, not retired.
I added extra lights and then decided I didn't need it anymore.
I added some new lights. I put the trailer out to pasture.
So this is done in printed solids Amiga 500, and it looks pretty good, but I think it's maybe a little too yellow for the design, a little too beige. Wonder if I can. Here, I'll put.
It just looks dirty. Duff said that you should wait on the bamboo. No reason to pay to be a beta tester.
Well, this is the thing that I'm in fact waiting to see how things go. So there you can see the baby shuttle on top of the full size shuttle.
That is quite a size difference.
It's about half the length, so I think it ends up being like something like a quarter of the material. But
nice.
So I'm going to incorporate some additional stuff to it, but I'm not going to tell people what the special features are until it's time.
Felipe said someone else is streaming too. Would that be Chris Riley and his Patreon stream? That I tell you, that Chris Riley guy. I mean, if we weren't already streaming, I'd be over there watching that too. I'm a Patreon.
I'm gonna go hop on his stream and be like, "How dare you, sir?"
We should hop into his stream and then rebroadcast it on our channel.
If it wasn't a Patreon screen, I would totally do that, like as a joke. But I am legitimately gonna fire him a little message and be like, "Excuse me, yes, what the heck?"
Sergio says, "I love my X1C. It prints. It just prints and super fast."
Let's see, Patreon. I am also a Patreon supporter of a Chris Riley.
Go said, "Let's go bust his kneecaps."
Let's see, switch to. Okay, I'm getting into it now.
Is the Rocky Mountain Rip Rap Fest in Loveland, Colorado?
Hey, you can't be broadcasting his audio.
It would be a good idea to change.
Well, I need to be able to see hear what he's here. I'll do this.
It doesn't matter. He's not going to come after me for it. Oh, I was looking for it. I was looking for it on YouTube, but it's being that it's a Patreon only. It wouldn't show up on YouTube. And then I don't know what Patreon. No, I'm not logged into either of them. Did he reply yet?
Did you hear that?
No, I have the audio turned off.
That was pictures. I
You're in there too.
I'm not sending anything yet.
Yeah.
I just want to see if this print is sticking this time or not.
That it's sending the
Nope.
where they haven't done anything.
I'm gonna throw the Pruzas, all the Pruzas, in the garbage.
Full of candy.
Sounds like a
when I
good
boxed
plan.
it up, because I just put cardboard.
Yeah, the only problem with like replaying his audio is if he says something that is only for his Patreon.
So hopefully
Yeah, I'm gonna close it now. Seriously, I don't know what's with my luck with 3D printers. I brought the Mini back out. I'm like, I'm gonna give the Mini another chance, and it jammed on the Z-axis. What? I closed out of
said-
it.
Did you see my I put
I saw you say, "How dare you, sir?"
yeah, how dare you stream at the same time I am? Like you're always what I put you're always trying to ride my coattails. And he said something like, "Oh, it's true. It's the reason I'm as big as I am today."
Too much fun in the country basement.
Too much fun. All right, sorry. I know that kind of derailed our stream a little bit, but you know, once in a while you got to screw with other YouTubers.
Screwtubers. That's what it's called.
Man,
Man,
but anyway, so
my luck with 3D printers lately has been nope.
you should just give up.
Oh, but
Maybe
then I get
3D, maybe 3D printing's not for you.
but then I have a mild amount of success and I'm driven to keep going. You know what I mean? Like 11,000 views in 21 days. I'm on cloud 9. There's people get 11,000 views in their first 20 minutes.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know about you.
The world is so full of garbage, and it seems that the garbage is what excels the most.
I am garbage. That's what I've decided.
Well, then you should be excelling.
Yeah, but instead I'm just delivering PowerPoints. Word.
Word to your mother. No, now I'm all discombobulated. I don't know, like I, you know, the whole trailer wiring thing was just really rubbing me wrong, and then nobody's got a solution for me. So I guess I'm just giving up on you guys. No, I think I'm just gonna end up going with some 16 gauge wire. I'll just buy an assortment of 16 gauge wire in the appropriate colors, make my own harnesses. Why not?
I wonder how much smaller I have to go for an action figure. I wonder if there's a 3-inch or a 3.5 inch. Gonna go find out.
Like it's about that tall, right?
Wait, hold on. I was a what? Yeah. I see what you did there. There are Lego ones or like knockoff Lego ones, but I'm like,
minifig size? Oh, I went away, didn't I?
Oh, this guy actually might be 4.5 inches, so it's even more worser.
The one that you have?
Yeah. Let me see.
No way.
Let's see. No, he's 5 inches. There is a 4.5 inch one, but that's not going to do anything. I'll just cut his head off and 3D print him a new body.
Yeah, well, what if you just cut him off at the waist and
jam him in there?
Yeah, just make a seat with a hole that it fits into.
No, I think because I'm not making this thing any bigger just for the joke.
Duff said, "I bet your 3DP luck is better than mine. My printer is currently under a wall."
Get an Airwolf. What's an Airwolf?
Oh, it's a helicopter. Great show. Love that show. Have you seen a picture of the actor that played Stringfellow Hawk from Airwolf?
I don't know. I don't know what any of this is.
You don't know what Airwolf is?
No.
Holy crap.
I can show this to Bob Carnes. Bob Carnes is a Star Trek fan. I done took my okay, so here's the thing. This here isn't a shrunk down version of the shuttle PC. I designed it from scratch again. Because I wanted to see how fast I could hammer it out. It took me a couple hours.
Duff said their shop had a fire a few weeks ago. Fire department decided to have an excavator push in the wall.
Oh, that sucks.
That sucks.
Would you say they duffed it? Nah, that's not funny. It's not funny because I don't want to make fun of Duff. This
Wow,
is
that sucks.
This is a Raspberry Pi case that I'm working on. It's printed in the Amiga 500, except for I used PLA because I can't bring myself to open up that batch of PETG since it's the only one that'll ever exist.
Duff said it's funny.
He's writing me hate mail in the background though.
Yeah.
Like, dear James, I was unimpressed with pretty much everything related to you.
Dear James, I don't like what you said, even though I said it was funny.
I have so many fun and funny things planned for this, but I'm not spoiling any of them on the stream. I might tell you later though.
It's very difficult to buy wire on Amazon.
Let's go buy some wire.
Almost all of it is copper clad aluminum. Now this does say copper, but then it says 16 gauge. And then in the about this item in all caps, so they're screaming it at you. This is not AWG American gauge wire. What is it then?
Maybe it's Maybelline.
It's made up 16 gauge? Like, and then it's got like an excessive number of 5-star ratings. That doesn't seem fishy.
Okay, so here's what I think I'm gonna do. Good night, everybody. In all seriousness, good night, everybody. I think I'm gonna bring the CR10 over and replace the ABL sensor on it, which died. Because then at least I can have another printer that kind of sometimes does what it wants or what I want it to if I ask real nice and I'm wearing something sexy.
Well, I've decided that being that copper wire, like house wire, is so stupid expensive that I'm going to come in here when I'm not streaming and fire up the FK1 and see if it trips the breaker. And if it doesn't trip, then I can start printing on it while I'm streaming. If it does trip, then I might have to just run an extension cord.
Run 2 extension cords. Plug them into each other. You take two 18 gauge extension cords and you put them in together and it equals like 1 9 gauge.
Oh.
So you gotta think in the maths, man. Also, I have my first potential commission on a computer case.
Nice.
So I'm waiting to make sure that all actually pans out before I say anything. But okay, CR10, you don't like me and I don't like you. The end. Oh, also ask me if my bathroom's done.
I was afraid to even ask.
Go ahead. Ask.
Is your bathroom done? Well, it hasn't quite been 3 weeks yet, has it?
We are so it is going to be like probably finished-ish esque tomorrow. It's going to be finished adjacent tomorrow. There will be additional work to be done further down the line. It gets a little complicated.
It's ridiculous is what it is.
I will say that they did say like I guess the office manager said, "You guys are lucky all this stuff has happened with these two, and that they're understanding because other clients have torn strips off of us for less." And I was like, "Yep, I'll agree." On a scale of 1 to happy, I'm not.
No, I wouldn't be at this point either. I mean, this is long enough for you to have to be pooping in a bucket.
Ugh. Well, and the thing is, I never bought 2 buckets, so it's kind of just overflowing at this point. You know, like I did the math. You know, it's like when you're cutting tiles, you add 10 to 15% for your overflow, right? So I did the math, and I'm like, okay, this bucket gives us plus 10 to 15%, but we're now double the time estimates, and there's literally it's just the entire floor is now the Dookie deck. So,
you know, these streams used to go off the rails. Now they're just off the rails.
they don't start on the rails anymore.
No, there's just no rails. It's like these streams are in Ohio. Wait, was that too soon?
I mean, there's like what, like 10 different states you can list now over the past couple of weeks that.
Well, Ohio just had another one.
Oh, geez.
They just had another one come off the rails.
I don't even want to, like, that's so, like, sad and scary.
It's super scary. This country has gone to AT double hockey sticks in a handbasket.
And I'm sure you've seen it. People immediately tried to turn it as political as possible, and it's like, oh, it's the current administration's fault, and then like, no, it's the previous administration. So it's like, it's taken years and decades for things to get as bad as they are. So I think it's really hard to try and pin it on one singular person. So now it's like, try and fix it and go after the people that haven't been doing anything about it. But like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Corporations and companies have been getting away with stuff for forever and a day. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, good night, everybody.
Duff said, sometimes I wish I could fly away in a balloon. Oh, wait.
Hey, there's a 1 in 10 chance if you did that, you'd get shot down.
Yeah, but you'd get to see some cool fighter jets up close.
Second confirmed kill of all time. Butterfly in the sky. Why do you make me cry? You know what? Some positive stuff. The new season of Star Trek Picard. I don't know if you knew this. I'm a bit of a Star Trek fan. The new season of Star Trek Picard is like borderline excellent. The first 2 seasons were, I will never watch them again. That's a statement. I have rewatched all of Star Trek multiple times at this point. It's what I toss on when I want to like work on something and have something on in the background, all the other stuff.
Yeah.
The 2 seasons of Star Trek Picard, I've watched them start to finish, but I have no intention to ever rewatch them. You know, just not enough Patrick Stewart nudity. It's just
it's that bald head of his.
So spoiler alert, Captain Picard's in today's episode.
Mad Mike said, too political. I'll go watch Chris. Kidding. Sergio asked if I was going to I am not. That's what Rocky Mountain Rep Festival, right? It just doesn't roll off. Murph.
Or
I like what's the one overseas? Smurf. That's brilliant. No, I will not be going to Murph, nor will I be going to regular Murph. But at this time, as of right now, I will most likely be at Earth.
Guess who else is going to be at Earth this year? 95%.
Joel Telling?
No.
Oh, that makes me sad. Maybe I won't go then.
Chris Riley. Now, it might just be a Chris Riley. I don't know if it's going to be the Chris Riley, but
Well, I hope
no,
he's there because I want to hit him for streaming at the same time I do.
as it stands right now, Kay and I should be there.
Yeah,
So-
James reached out to me the other day and said, I think I'm going to IRF. And I said, oh, okay. Well, let me check my schedule. I didn't have anything on the schedule for that weekend, so I penciled it in. But I'll probably be flying up. The whole
Is it
family does want to attend.
You say the whole family does?
Does. Not
Okay.
because they want to go to IRF, but because
Taco
they
Bell.
want to see UNK.
Oh, really? That's so sweet.
But
I mean, we're also adding Kay and I would love to see them. We keep talking about like the next time we have time to actually take a vacation that we can go down and meet the Florida men themselves and, you know, hang out with you guys. And
that'd be awesome. You are
I said-
welcome anytime.
I said, we'll just sleep in Glenn's garage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll give you the apartment, but
No, I'll buy an air mattress. It's cheaper than renting a hotel, and we'll just toss it down on the concrete and call it a day.
oh, you think there's enough concrete out there for you to put an air mattress down?
Hey, look, if Sean can find enough room to do his knife work in there, I can find a place to sleep.
But
Sorry.
so I mean, obviously, I've started to fill my schedule with automotive related things. So some that I may make and some that I may not make, but we have absolutely penciled in IRF as well as Orlando Maker Faire.
So Brian said if you're going to replace the ABL, get a CR Touch because the probe tucks into the sensor and the. I'm literally just dropping in an exact replacement for it. When I buy stuff, if I think it's going to be something that I'm going to have to replace at some point, I buy like 3 of them at the same time. And that's the way. I do that.
I have the BL Touch, which was kindly sponsored by them. I mean, they sent them to me. In fact, they sent me like 3 of them and 2 of the wiring kits. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm completely sold on that technology. I think the inductive and capacitive sensors, inductive actually better than capacitive, are better. The reason I say inductive over capacitive is because the capacitive, if you get your fingers near it, it'll trigger.
Well, these ones are like 12 millimeter ones. They're like, I mean, you can see it's a pretty big probe.
Yeah.
But this one's been on here for 3 years at this point, and it's been super reliable. Finally, you know, there's a kink in the wire somewhere, so but I think I paid like $8 a piece for them. I'm grateful they didn't break our toilet then. It was so funny. I was at the 3-week mark. I was talking to one of my friends / coworkers, and he's like, "How are things going with the bathroom?" I said, "Well, you know, things are on the delayed side, but I'm excited to say that I was able to take a leak in my new bathroom for the first time last night." And he's like, "Oh, that's great." I said, "Yeah, they were pretty ticked off when they saw the mess in the morning, but they told me the toilet was going to be there, so what can you do?" And he was like, "Wait, seriously?" I'm like, "No."
You could pee in the pipe. I mean,
I mean, they seal off the pipe. Obviously, you don't want an open.
Oh
poop
yeah, you
pipe.
don't want that smell coming in.
Oh, it's Dookie Day every day.
Yeah.
So no one told you that today was Dookie Day.
Duff said should be some room under the 2-post lift. Yeah, except for there's almost always a car there. And Duff said, I'm jealous of your 2-post lift. I appreciate you being jealous of my 2-post lift.
Glenn needs to feel significant, and I just don't do it for him anymore.
No, I'm super appreciative that my wife let me do that when I did, because I mean, like a lot of the mechanic-y people refer to them as back savers, and they absolutely are. Tony Ryan came in and said, sponsored by ANET. I'm not sure what was sponsored by ANET.
This printer's on fire. This printer's on fire.
Bob Carn said there's a new one that scans the bed. Looks interesting.
Oh yeah,
Like laser scans.
I think I also heard of one that no, it wasn't echolocation. I'm trying to think of what it was. It uses bat signals, literal echolocation.
Tony said, "Put some kitty litter in your bucket."
Okay, so this week, whenever one of the cats poops, we try to catch it as quick as possible because it smells, right? So like as soon as you catch a whiff of it, we go and we pick it up, and so
pick it up and
Mika,
play with it for a little while.
Exactly, bat it around a little bit. So Mika, as she's gotten older, is taken to pooping around the litter box, but not in the litter box, and it's because she's got a sore hip joint. So squatting in a specific location like that can be painful for her. She needs to have like reinforced ground. And when she goes, so we've got the litter box inside of a Rubbermaid container, like a large one that we've cut a hole in. So she goes into the Rubbermaid container to go. And when she's going, you can hear them hitting the container. So you'll be sitting there all of a sudden you hear, and you look out and she's got her head sticking out of the box and thunk, thunk. So I hear it and I look over and sure enough, she's there and she goes running out. So I go over to clean it up and I pop the lid off the Rubbermaid container. Bo's in there too. They were doing a tandem dump in the same litter box at the same time. And I'm like, we've had the two of them living together for 10 or 11 years now. And this is the first time. And they were double duking it.
Well, when you got to go, you got to go.
Well, they have multiple. I mean, I guess they don't share the issues that the rest of us have about like, I wouldn't want to poop in front of other people personally. That's,
Well, I mean, I've had because I have one of the litter boxes that it's got a lid on it with the hole.
Yep.
And they jump in there because otherwise they fling litter everywhere.
Yep.
And I've had situations where one of them will be in there and the other one will be standing on the ledge looking in like, "What you doing?"
It's like, what do you think I'm doing? Reading the New York Times.
What you doing there, boy? You pooping? Are you pooping, boy?
I don't have enough. I have this all cable tied instead of bundled, which I guess I should probably be trying to like redo this properly. However, no. However, contrary to that, no.
However, not gonna.
But I'm low on cable ties, so I'm trying to feed it through the cable ties that the old wire was run through with the same amount of slack and stuff. I mean, so far, it's going terrible. Nope, that was a terrible idea.
Tony said, "So you're saying when your cat poops, it sounds like the theme to Seinfeld?"
No, it actually sounds like Terminator.
I just want to find some 16 gauge wire that's not copper clad aluminum that comes in the right colors. Why is this so difficult?
You know why.
It's like they're out to get me.
Oh my God. So Kay and I went out for dinner tonight. We haven't done like a date night dinner in a long time. And with some more stress stuff that happened today, I was like, do you just want to go out and have a dinner? She's like, yeah, it'd be really nice to like change a pace for a bit. And there was a guy sitting like at the bar, and we were sitting at a table like probably 15 feet away, speaking so loudly that we could hear every word he was saying, and it was all this conspiracy theory stuff. And it's like someone's like, he's like, you shouldn't just trust everything you read on the internet. Okay, fair enough. And then like he was borderline talking about like lizard people and stuff like that. And Kay's just sitting there like, I'm sorry that I suggested we go. She's like, just don't listen to him. Like, how can you not listen to him? He's louder than the two of us talking face to face. And somebody finally said to him, hey, would you mind shutting up?
Oh, yeah. And then he's like over the top at the point somebody's willing to publicly shush him.
And he's like, hey, we're allowed to talk about whatever we want, whenever we want. And
I mean, I kind of sometimes fall into the whole conspiracy theorist thing. I mean, I truly believe there's a lot of crap going on that nobody wants to admit.
Yeah, I know. And it's all the Democrats.
Oh, absolutely, stupid liberals. Don't anybody screen capture that.
I actually just baited you into saying that so I could get it on camera. It's like,
but
So-
no, but I mean, some of the stuff's a little over the top even for me. So
okay, so Kay and I ordered, I think I talked about this last week. Kay and I ordered a copy of The Last of Us for PlayStation 3 because I was able to find a copy on eBay for $15 and I have a PlayStation 3 and we want to play through it and see what it's like.
okay, dude,
So
I'm digging that. I'm digging the TV series.
that's the thing. We've been watching currently and Kay's like, I want to see how it's done in the show. I'm like, absolutely, let's go for it. It showed
We
up
just
this
watched
week.
Modest Pelican.
Modest Pelican.
You don't know who Modest Pelican is on YouTube?
No.
Oh, dude, he's one of the funniest gamers I have ever watched in my whole life.
Okay, don't oversell it there, Chief.
He's one of those Australian guys. He's from Austria.
He digs the Aussie philosophy.
He's super funny.
So before I forget the end of this story, so it showed up this week from eBay, and it's got a handwritten note with it, and it says, "Hey, thank you so much for buying this copy of The Last of Us from," and it's like the guy's name and his girlfriend's name or wife's name put together, incorporated. So it's like Keith and Diane Incorporated. I have a question for you. Do you believe in any of the Titanic conspiracy theories? So I jump on eBay and I message him back. Let me open it so I can read it off exactly.
Why would you put that in with something you're selling? Oh,
Let me see here. Well, I think we know why. Why would anybody say anything to me about Titanic?
So you think that was targeted just to you?
Yeah.
So they think that you're the James Cameron.
Or they're just being funny with a punny. So I responded with, "No way an iceberg sunk the Titanic. If you leave metal and ice out, ice melts within an hour or two, and the metal barely melts at all. It was just a way to sell tickets to a movie."
Oh, that's brilliant.
I knew you'd appreciate it.
Bob Carn said, "Shh, no one tell Glenn about the conspiracies. He's not in the club." And Tony said, "Yeah, but Glenn is actually Florida man, so that negates a lot of his opinion."
Careful now.
Oh,
You know what? We don't offend the actual Florida man.
No, you guys got to understand the Florida man is not one guy.
It's all the guys.
It is a conglomeration of Florida. Pretty much everybody who lives here is Florida man.
I'm gonna have to go take a look at that print in a second because I just heard clicking and then I saw a piece of plastic go, like extruded plastic, go flying off. I'm hoping what's happening is that there's like some residual filament left over from when everything went to crap. But from experience, I'm just gonna assume everything is terrible and I should hate my life.
Oh. Well, it looks like we've run a bunch of people off. We're down to 8 watching.
I mean, that's still a.
We're gonna filter you people out one way or another.
What do you mean, you people? I'm quitting.
What do you mean? What do you mean, you people?
I have to figure out how I had this wired up now because I don't want to have to put extra effort into this. Like looking up the wiring schematics for it. I'm hoping the color coding between, because I think I ordered them all at the same time.
Yeah. Duff said, "Can we at least get some popcorn so we can watch what's happening down south?"
Down south.
Florida is a crazy place to live. It truly is. I mean, not just because of the whole Florida man thing, but it's just, I don't know. It's just a crazy place to live. But I live far enough out in the country where, like, the biggest concern that I have here is the old people in the retirement community. That's like the biggest concern out here. Otherwise, it's quiet. It's quiet.
I should get a proper pair of wire strippers, but instead I'm just gonna continue to use my my flesh cutters.
Your flesh cutters.
My flesh cutters.
Yeah, we've had this conversation.
And every time I do, somebody messages me on Twitter is like, "Hey, send me your like Amazon wish list." I'm like, I don't have an Amazon wish list.
Oh, because you don't have wire strippers?
Yep.
They
And
want
they're
to
always
send
like,
you, they want to send you some strippers?
everybody wants to send me a stripper. Okay. Well,
Is it generally an acceptable? No, I found it. I was going to say, if it doesn't say that it's pure copper, then it's going to be copper clad aluminum. They should outlaw that. Copper clad aluminum should not be
Thanks, Gene.
allowed. Brilliant. That's the only reason that I keep doing these chats is because you guys are just amazing.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, we live in such a crazy world, and I'm old enough now where, like, every time I say something that I used to say, then I have to think to myself, "Oh, am I allowed to say stuff like that?"
If you have to ask, the answer is probably no. But
oh, I can't remember. I can't remember what I used the other day.
the other day,
And then
we should start a Letterkenny fan club.
yeah, but then I thought to myself, "Oh, is that?" And then I realized that, like, whatever it was, I never really understood what it meant, and it didn't mean what I thought it meant. So it was fine. It was fine.
Was it though?
Dove, also we gained 2 viewers, so keep up the stripper talk. Lost one talking about CCA. Yeah, well, that's the people, like there's diehard CCA wire people, and when you talk bad about it, they're just like, no, it's copper clad aluminum or nothing.
I used duct tape to insulate these wires the last time.
Bob Carn says, James, we're working on Jesse distribution to Canada to cut the freight costs.
I would like that. I would like if they brought the classic colors into PETG on a permanent basis, because first of all, that's all I can get the freaking print off my Pruzas lately is PETG. Not that I mind.
You used to never be able to print PETG on them.
Yeah. Although the PLA prints there, the first ones did fine. I'm having an off night, and I'm usually what happens is when I get enthusiastic about a project and I start making a lot of decent progress in it, that's when everything just goes just terrible. Well, I don't know where that piece of plastic came from, but things are looking okay. So I'm just gonna.
Maybe it was left over from the failed print. Maybe it was stuck somewhere.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's anything specific. So
I really got to go in and fix that Nightbot.
Also, in case it's come off as me like poop talking Prusa today, I've got thousands of hours on my Mark III, and it's required very little for me. So I'm not actually trying to poop talk it at all. It's been a very constant, reliable workhorse for me. I'm just thinking I might want something faster if I'm going to be doing big projects all the time.
It should be noted that's totally not what he says when it's just him and I talking. He poop talks it all the time. He's like that Joseph Prusa guy. He doesn't know nothing.
James said, and I quote, "Design prototype teacher was 100% right about Joseph Prusa. What a hack! What a hack!" I can't even get this wire completely out of the harness, so I'm just cutting out chunks of it in the hopes of, like, at least minimizing how much of it's left. Well, maybe I can do this, actually. I just pick up the printer and well, I grabbed the wrong one, so that's not helpful. I just pick up the printer and heave it at the camera. Break the camera, break the printer. Now I don't have to live stream anymore or 3D print.
Oh, and I just want to find some decent wire that's not copper clad aluminum in the right colors and in the right length for the right amount of money.
Located entirely within your kitchen. May I see it?
I mean, the thing is, like, if I buy more than I need, like, you know, the trailer is 18 feet long. I have a junction box that's on the bulkhead, so like I don't have to go all the way to the tongue. Be less picky about the color. No, there's standards for a reason, Bob. Yeah, because then I won't know what I'm hacking into later. But you know, like, so I could probably get by with 25-foot rolls, but I'd hate to buy 25-foot rolls and then have it be too short. Plus, I would need 2 rolls of brown then. Hey, easy.
I do want to find out how much I can get away with at some point, like, because those companies usually won't strike you. They'll usually just claim the revenue from your stuff.
Right.
So I want to upload a bunch of like privatized videos with various amounts of clips and stuff, and be like, okay, from now on, I know I can get away with this much with a Star Trek video.
Well, and that's one of the YouTubers that I watch. Like, he had made the comment, well, I wanted to use that song, but I knew that they would get me for it, so I talked over it. And I don't know if that worked or not, but
I'm looking for electrical tape now. I don't know where I've got any handy. Or shrink wrap would be fine too.
Copper-clad. Are people really buying this garbage?
No, that's why there's so much of it for sale.
Copper-clad wire, but I need something that's going to hold up to the vibration.
Vibranium?
Ooh, vibranium wire.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Ooh.
Oh, dude, I am so tired. I have been up since just. Oh, so Bob will appreciate this. I was up at 2:50 this morning. Couldn't get back to sleep, so I watched the new episode of Picard before I went to work. I don't know if anybody else here is a Star Trek fan, so I'm just assuming Bob's the only one.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just you and Bob in the whole world. Nobody else cares about Star Trek.
That could be true. They actually just canceled one of the series.
I mean, I am a fan of the Luke Skywalker character, but other than that, I don't care about Star Trek.
Did you like my reply to Xander?
I missed all of that. Like, he told me what he was going to say, and then...
Okay, so Xander said, I've never seen this. Who is this guy? I've never seen this Star Wars. And I responded, oh, you're frozen. I'm going to wait for you to come back. I responded with, it was rated PG-13. Your parents didn't let you watch it.
Am I still gone?
No, you're back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I never actually went away on my side, but every time that, like, anytime that you go that I'm gone, there's like a little meter that pops up that shows weak signal, but it's not my network. So it's got to be a StreamYard thing. I really need to reach out to them. I just don't think about it until
it's time to stream.
Yeah.
Did you hear what my response to him
Yeah,
was?
I heard you the whole time. I never actually like went anywhere.
Oh, so it just wasn't that funny is what you're saying.
Right. Well, I was more worried about being offline. I mean, listen, if this isn't here and only that's here, everybody's leaving.
You keep telling yourself that, bub. Yeah, bub. And also, I wrote him a poem back after he stuck what I can only assume is a Chat GPT poem out at us.
Yeah, that I did see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he used Chat GPT for that.
You know what? I'm pretty sure too.
I'm a little bit of a fan of Chat GPT if you use it right.
Who uses it right though?
Duff said that I just freeze in real life every now and then. That's true.
Need more fiber in your diet. There's a guy, I think it's Auralnaut is what he goes by on YouTube, and I think it's Auralnaut, Aurelnaut. So he's done a bunch of videos where he like edits in voice dubs and stuff into, like the one he got famous was he did this edit of The Dark Knight Rises, and he voiced over Bane and made Bane obsessed with like dietary restrictions and fiber. So it's like they cut the fiber. He's like, strawberries. I don't know if I can do the Bane voice anymore. I used to be pretty good at it. It's like, strawberries are full of fiber. How long would it take us to get market fresh strawberries here? And the guy's like, 10 minutes. He's like, we're going mobile. And then like the part in that movie where they're in the stadium and he asks the guy like, who's the only person that knows how to defuse this bomb or whatever? And he goes, only me. They change it. He goes, who's the only man to ever beat me in freestyle rap? And he's like, only me. And he goes, yes, only you. And then shoots him and he goes, DJ, drop me a beat. My name's Bane. Yes, that's my name. When you hear the name Bane, it becomes a name. Bruce Wayne, or Batman and Bruce Wayne are totally the same. Anyways, he did an edit of the final trailer for the new season of Star Trek Picard. And there's a part where like Worf's like, you should know I prefer pacifism now. And he's like, I used to be violent like her. Now I'm into model trains. And then there's a part where he's fighting. He's like, call me the conductor. Anyways, I know I'm the nerdiest person here. That's saying something.
Yeah, it is. Whew.
My name's James. Yes, that's my name. When you hear the name James, you log off.
Oh, but yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying The Last of Us. I never played the game, but I'm enjoying the TV show. I hate that it's not like bingeable. They didn't just dump it all at once, but that's okay.
It has had some episodes that were like bothersome. I definitely have a couple of friends that are like, I'm taking a week or two off. I've got to watch it in phases because there's some. Have you seen the most recent episode from Sunday?
Yes.
There's
yeah, I watch it immediately. Now,
yeah, Kay and I watch it the Monday after, and we're like actually paying for the service to watch it too. Like,
yeah, Priscilla hasn't watched it, and that was because in the beginning, I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but
Snape kills Dumbledore.
The beginning was a little too Walking Dead-ish for her.
It does feel pretty Walking Dead-ish. You know what I like about the storyline though? It's more plausible than any of the other zombie stuff that's come before it.
Yeah, because they actually answer like why it
and
is what it is.
The fungus that they're talking about in it exists. It's a real thing, right? So
right.
like, and then they give a somewhat plausible reason as to why this could happen. Anyways, good times and happy days.
But no, thoroughly enjoying that. We started watching the Night Court reboot, which I watched Night Court when it was on TV. New. So that's kind of fun.
Is the new one good?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's pretty funny.
I saw a review where they're like, "Oh, it's too politically correct to be funny anymore, and the jokes don't land." And I was like, I don't know. Like, I do want to see it because it's I liked what's her name from The Big Bang Theory,
right?
And I could see her playing that character. So
yeah, well, and like it's been long enough since the original one that you don't really compare it to the original one.
I was showing Kate clips of Brent Spiner was a character that was in the original Night Court a bunch of times. He's like the hillbilly guy that moved in from like Nebraska or whatever, and he had a worm farm, and the worm farm didn't work out because they had a stampede, and then his wife's like, "It's like every spaghetti dinner you ever had coming back at you." And then they're talking about how they had a chick farm, and he goes, I do have to admit, he's like, I have to admit, we were lured in by the beauty of it all or whatever. And there's one that they say the daughter goes, Papa, am I ever going to go to Disneyland? And he puts his hand on his like, nope, not ever in your life. Not in a million years are you going to be able to afford to go to Disneyland.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to think. There was another, it's going to take me a minute to remember the name. Will
Forte?
It's a dude's name.
Will
the
I
show.
Am?
Huh?
Will and Grace.
No, it's a new show. I'm gonna have to look it up now.
Well, I couldn't find electrical tape, so I'm being forced to do this the proper way with solder and heat sink.
Heat shrink.
It's heat sink.
Don't
I
put
wrapped
heat
in
sink
aluminum and copper heat pipe.
Don't put a heat sink on there. Will Trent. It's a
Will Sasso.
he's a no, Will Trent. Trent, Trent, Trent. He's an FBI agent. I won't give away anything else about it, but it's got good humor in it, and it's the storyline has been good. That's a new one that we started watching.
Have you watched the improv show where I forget what the guy's name is. He's been Will Arnett. Is it Will Arnett? Anyways,
Lego Batman.
So they bring in a new guest cop every episode, and it's a famous actor or actress, and they're not in character. They're just
yes.
And they don't know what the script is. They don't know who it is, and they're supposed to try and deduce who the murderer is by the end of the episode.
Yeah, they're on like Netflix or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like somethingville. It's like Poopville or Murderville. I think it's Murderville actually. Now that I think about it,
that sounds right.
Anyways, Kate and I really enjoyed it, and then they released a Christmas special. It's I won't ruin anything for anybody.
Who killed Santa murder Christmas special?
Yeah.
That's the first one. That's the first one that we had ever seen, and then went back and watched. None of them are as good as that one. Like that is like.
Yeah, we watched them in order, so I think it kind of like builds. Like they get better as you go on. So.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Okay, well,
I think my mouse is dying. Let's see if that's a rechargeable in there. No, it is not.
Let's get recharging. Right here.
Yeah, that we caught that at Christmas time and then went back and watched them, but
it was good. Pretty good.
It was very enjoyable. Yeah.
Maybe very good.
True Lies. They came out with a series called True Lies.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's loosely based around the premise of the movie.
Oh, but giving Arnold Schwarzenegger a job?
Right.
Get to the chopper! I'm a cop, you idiot. I'm Detective John Gimbel.
So
who is your daddy and what does he do?
It's not a headache. It's not a headache at all. No, it's so do you know the show, the Reba show? The show Reba. With
the
Reba
single
McEntire?
mom that works 2 jobs who loves her kids and never stops.
Right. So Van
Wilder? Van Wilder?
No.
Ryan Reynolds.
I don't know what his real name is, but his name is Van on the show.
Yeah.
He's the baby daddy.
Okay.
He's Arnold in the TV series. And he's old. That's the part that kills me. Because every time I see somebody that got old, I'm like, what happened to me?
How did I not get old? That's what I keep asking myself.
I'm still 12. What did I do the other day?
I'm still 12. Yeah, why would you pick 12 as the age that you're gonna stick around? Like, I'm 12 years old.
Because that's where my sense of humor hangs out.
Mommy, is it bedtime yet? Said Glenn. Stop calling me. Go fix your Plex, said Mom.
Yeah. I don't remember where we were or what we were doing, but
was it tequila shots? No, you don't do.
Oh no, we were at church on Sunday when we were at church, where we sit up in the balcony, and like the very first row is up on a riser that's pretty decent height. It's probably 15 inches high, and so like
it's weird that you measure.
Got up out of my seat, and the people were coming, and these people they stopped, and they're like, "Go ahead," and like I literally jumped off of there, and I thought, I'm 50 years old. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm gonna hurt myself.
But you didn't. Too bad.
I didn't hurt myself. I was okay.
Okay, well, maybe I fixed 2 printers. I don't know.
Well, at least you did something. I didn't do anything at all. Bob said he got old and I got ancient.
After I hit him, who's gonna clean up the dust?
Oh. I'm sorry. I'm still thinking about TV. Have you heard about the Fallout TV series?
No,
You know, the game Fallout 4.
I've never played Fallout, but yeah, I know of Fallout.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love Fallout 4. And I don't know. Everybody, if anybody plays Fallout 4, raise your hand, because if you haven't seen this, I gotta find the pictures. So they're still a long way off of releasing it, but they just somebody like leaked some photos. They somewhere in it's in New York, like more upstate New York. Maybe we'll send Brian there to go check it out. They started building one of the sets, and it's the Red Rocket gas station, and it is spot on.
Gnarly.
Well, where you've never played the game, it's not going to make much sense to you. But let's see, open image in new tab. That's really all the bigger it's going to let me make it. Let me see if I can find a better photo.
I should probably go over there and get ready to switch this off in case that trigger doesn't actually trigger. I'm like watching it down. I'm like, this could go real bad.
All right. So as opposed to trying to share these photos, I'm going to share a link in the chat. If you are at least I think I'm going to share a link in the chat.
You thought wrong.
Maybe it won't let me.
A
Maybe I'm
single
not a mod.
mom that works too hard.
If you are a Fallout 4 fan, go check these photos out of this Red Rocket gas station. I mean, it blew me away how accurate it is to the game. And I'm gone, and I'm back. I was gone for just a quick split second. I never played any of the older ones. I started with Fallout 4. Like, I've never really been much of a gamer, but because of my obsessive compulsive addictive personality, once I start playing a game, I get full on. I mean, it was really hard to shake Red Dead as of late. But I actually haven't played in quite a while, so it's been okay. But yeah, it'll consume all of my time. Though I have been thinking about firing up the old Fallout 4 again.
I have a question for you that you may or may not know the answer to.
Blue.
It's a construction question.
Nails.
That's not particularly helpful.
Oh, okay.
Does white silicone, when used around the edge of a bathtub, turn pink over time due to exposure to water and detergent?
It can not necessarily pink, but it can discolor.
Okay. I had extended a question to our contractor. The tiles cut directly above the bathtub are pretty uneven, like the ones that make contact with the tub.
Right.
And they did a translucent caulking, or around the tub.
Like clear?
It's semi-clear. It doesn't cover up that inconsistent in the cut, which originally it was like, oh, we're gonna caulk around it, and you won't see the unevenness of those cuts. That's why they don't have to be super accurate. So Kay looked and was like, well, you can still see how inconsistent they are. I'd like them to do it with white. So I sent an email off asking for it to be redone in white. And the email I got back was, we don't recommend using white. You should stick with the translucent because the white will discolor over time and make your tiles look bad.
So will the clear.
So
the clear will end up getting moisture behind it and you'll get mold back there and you'll see it. what you need to use, and I don't know if you guys have it in the Kanadas, but it's DAP, DAP, bath and kitchen. Let me find it. This stuff is absolutely amazing. Quick Seal, KWIK, Quick Seal, white kitchen and bath. It's actually an adhesive caulking, but it's like super white. And I used to build speaker box. I'd use it to build speaker boxes in cars. And if you screwed up and it was dry, you weren't getting it back apart. Like you just have to scrap it and start all over. That's how well it adheres. So
might have to.
Our toilet bowls get a pink ring inside because mine get that. I have it's an iron algae in the water.
We've got that too.
Yeah, so I mean it's gonna discolor really anything, but
anyways, not like completely I just wanted to find out, get a second opinion, because originally they asked, do you want it done in white or translucent? And Kay asked for translucent, and then after seeing it, she's like, I think I'd prefer it white. And
yeah, I don't think no, they're white tiles. I do them in white because it's a white tub, white tile. I know you went with a black grout, but you wouldn't want it black.
And they did a white silicone bead at the top where the tile hits the ceiling.
Then why wouldn't they use white at the top? Well, because they asked you and you said,
yeah. So I'm just trying to find out if it's we don't want to do extra work, or if it's
actually, it's absolutely we don't want to do, because now they're going to have to dig all that out of there, and that sucks.
See, they did a pretty thin bead, so I was saying like there's probably enough room that they could do a white coat over top of it, since it doesn't even make it to the
silicone. Doesn't stick to silicone.
Is that the issue?
Yep. Yeah, if you put silicone over the top of the other silicone, it'll peel off. That's why, like when you're assembling a fish tank, if you're building an aquarium, you have to do it in one shot. Like you can't kind of seal it together and then go back and seal it well. It won't hold. It'll leak wherever you didn't do it. So Duff said that you guys have DAP in your Home Depot.
That would make sense to me. I would believe that we do have that here.
Well, I don't ever know. I don't know what you guys.
Oh no, I'm not criticizing you.
You guys have weird stuff that we don't, and vice versa.
Like coffee crisp and ketchup chips.
and Kraft dinner instead of macaroni and cheese.
So, in your opinion, you think this is they don't want to put the extra work into doing that?
Yeah, it sounds like they don't want to dig that caulking that they already put in. They don't want to dig it out and do it again. And if they opt to do it, you make sure you watch it and make sure they dig it out and do it again. Don't let them just put it over the top.
So he's asked us to live with. He said, give it 2 or 3 weeks and it should blend in better over time. The translucent stuff should blend in with the existing stuff.
No, it doesn't change colors.
So,
like, it's not going to be less translucent later. It's going to look exactly the same until it's all moldy and you got to dig it out of there anyway.
I just, because the answer about I'm not going to talk about the rest of stuff online. I'm not going to badmouth a local company and whatnot. But, you and I can talk for a minute after the stream.
Yeah, well, you're a better man than me, because I'd be just slamming them all over the place by this point.
I can understand why. It's been a long journey to get to here, and
well, so that doesn't have anything to do. I mean, if they were local to me, I wouldn't care.
We're kind of at the point where it's like, cause there is going to be a final walkthrough, and like Kenny said, that they're going to ask us how we feel about the bathroom, and it's like, okay, it's not.
So I mean, I hired some people to help build the house. When I was building the house, I had hired a framing team, and I had them there. They told me they were going to come in and frame everything in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You've heard that story before, right?
I have heard the story before.
And 2 weeks in, when they had only gotten like 3 of the walls up and caught part of my house on fire.
Was it the good part or the bad part?
Well, they had thrown a cigarette butt down and it rolled into a pile of sawdust and started to burn and burned one of the wall plates. So that had to be cut out and redone. But the point, like, the boss man came to collect money. I hired the crew through the guy that I bought the materials through. So
Yeah.
he showed up to collect money for the materials that I didn't even have. He's like, oh yeah, well, we brought out this sheathing. And I'm like, no, this is what I have. You're not charging me for something I don't have. It was a whole nightmare. But yeah, no, I said, you know what? You owe me money. You owe me money for this and for this, like, and I said, you know what? We're done. We're all done. Don't just tell your guys don't show up tomorrow. We're done. So, and I went back to doing it on my own.
Sometimes it's the best way to make sure you get what you want.
Brian said, any word on what part of upstate New York that's in? I don't know. I just know that I read that it was somewhere in New York. And I don't know how somebody would accidentally stumble upon that. Because, they don't just leave movie sets out for everybody to get to. That's what's weird. But anyway.
I have to tell Kay that answer when I go upstairs too. I think she's going to be pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to come across as like a big deal after everything else, but
it absolutely wouldn't be a big deal if they had cut those tiles straight.
Well, that is the thing. But yeah, I think I sent you the picture.
Yeah, because they cut those tiles with a pair of nippers or pruning shears or karate chop.
Yeah.
Not really sure.
Actually, it was a stern glance.
Yeah.
No,
it's not ever going to look good.
I will say that the owner of the tiling company came out and attempted to fix the niches. The snag we're running into now too is that like we had originally a vision for how it was going to look, and we sent pictures of how it was going to look. It was implemented in a way that wasn't aligned with the pictures we sent, and when we asked, they said, well, the pictures you sent, it wasn't done properly. It was probably done by like some like do it yourself or TikToker type person that didn't put a so it's not meant to be done that way. You have to have it done, like it has to have this one thing on it. So the border they'd put on, the white of the border didn't match the white of the tiles, and as a result the border looked yellow.
Right.
So we back and forth on stuff, and then Kay said, well, like, what if we do a different color border maybe? So we went through and I photoshopped the niches with different colors of border on them, and we settled on black. But now that the black's up there, she's like, it looks sharp, but it also is she was going for a spa feel, and she's like, it's too like abrasive to it kind of it breaks out of the relaxing feel of what was going on.
Yeah.
So
no, that's why I don't hire people. I just do it myself. Because then if it's wrong, I got nobody to blame but me.
That's kind of where we're at too. Is like I feel like maybe if I'd done it myself, it wouldn't have been as good. But I would be like, if Kay and I had done it ourselves and it turned out similar to how it is now, we'd probably be like, yeah, look at how good we did for our first try. You know what I mean? You're a lot more forgiving of like little hiccups and stuff when it's your first time doing something and you're like just impressed with yourself for having accomplished it.
Sure.
But anyways.
Dust said in Canada, we have no tile cutting tools. We just grab a beaver by its tail and whip it at the top.
Yeah, but we're not supposed to tell people about that. That's the animal cruelty, you know?
So the first tile work I ever did, I had bought my first house, and my mom said to me, she said, "Let's put a tile backsplash behind the stove. You know, that way when you're cooking, you can wipe the grease off of it and stuff." And so I said, "Okay." And we went to the Homes Depot and bought a bunch of stuff. Um, And then, like I look back at that stuff now and I'm like, man, I was an idiot. Why did I do it like that?
Because you
Like I
didn't know
used,
better.
yeah, I used mosaic tile, like the 12 by 12 sheets of 1 by 1 mosaics. And I put it on the wall. I put it on the wall with mastic, not thin set. So when it went to come down, that was a nightmare. Uh, yeah, it was I don't know, you just look back at the way you used to do things compared to the way you learned how to do them later. But
Well, it's been a rough journey.
yeah, well, and typically you hire a professional company because they're going to come in and get it done and get out of there. I mean, I could have walked to your house, done the tiling, and walked home in the amount of time that it's taken them to do this bathroom. That's it. You should have hired me.
I mean, if I probably would have, to be honest.
I mean, like me personally, not my company, me.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying is that, like, I probably could have paid for you to come down here and do it and everything else, and have a little vacation away from your family.
Oh
And
yeah,
send it,
for what? Yeah, for the money that you've invested. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you're
and
sending me pictures?
yeah. Oh, somebody just liked one of my posts that is scantily clad in their profile picture. So I bet I'm about to get a private message from somebody. I'm just looking for where it's got to be after this one, I think. Hold on.
I actually like the way that turned out. Can I share that picture?
Yeah, for sure. What I will say is that, like, if you look close at the borders and stuff like that, the cuts aren't super clean, and there's like some of the black paint or whatever has flaked off. So but like at this point, I'm like, I'm just gonna go in with
they painted that. That's not black tile.
It's some sort of metal border. They said you have to have a metal border around your niche.
No, you don't. You don't have to. Good God, man.
So this is the tile in question that I wanted them to do the white caulking around to cover up the imperfections and the cuts.
Yeah, now I'm assuming this isn't grouted yet, right? Because there's spacers sticking out of there.
Yeah, it's been grouted now, but it wasn't grouted at the time.
In this picture, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't share the second picture.
Well, no, you're naked in the bathtub. I'm not going to share that.
I mean, I was naked in the bathtub. It is very carefully edited to.
Oh, is that the one? Because you sent me that picture before.
Yeah, so I was just reiterating, like, that's the.
Oh, yeah, that's the one that I remember seeing. How bad.
And originally it was like, well, it's going to be covered up by the caulking, so that line isn't all that important. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
I can share a snippet of that picture, can't I?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you can't see anything in it anyways. I was just like, this is one that makes them look bad, but like nobody knows who they are anyways.
Well, no. And
the thing is, I've gone 7 weeks of this stream without being negative about it on stream.
All right. Now, don't you guys make fun of James's little faucet.
That faucet is weird. I didn't realize it was going to be a swivel faucet. I never thought that I'd see a swivel faucet in a bathtub. You know what I mean? Like, they just sent the pictures of like, oh.
So you can clearly see that those tiles starting from the left are a little bit angled, and then they almost roll up on the right side.
So, and here's the other issue. If you zoom in on the right corner, like above the tub,
Yeah, I can't.
Okay, you can see that there's basically grout built up there, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They didn't clean that out before they caulked over it, and it's the same in the niches.
Wow.
So Kay's like, she's like, this still looks terrible. Like the corners have grout built up in them instead of being nice and clean, and now they're caulked over, so we can't even do anything about it.
Well, I cannot. Yeah, Dust said white cock. I cannot stress to you enough. Do not pay them the remainder of the money until you are 100% satisfied.
Well, and we're at the point now too where like the stuff that we're complaining about, they're like, oh, we'll just live with it for a few weeks and it'll change.
So then say, okay, no problem. Live without your money until I'm,
Well, but that is where we're at. If we're being told we have to live with it until an X number of time, we will wait and pay. And like this isn't a finalized transaction until
right, exactly. Yeah. Do not sign off on it until you are 100% happy.
And I don't understand why they're saying if white caulk isn't the right thing to use, why they did white caulking on the ceiling and stuff like that around the shower. It's going to get
their
wet.
argument with that is that's not in the water.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to tell you something else, and it's tough because you chose a black grout, but in the corners of showers, you don't ever grout that seam. You always caulk that seam. So when your walls change planes, well, anytime you change a plane, you don't use grout in there. It will crack it. So because it's
going to shift over time. You need something that's got elasticity.
Right. Now, it would look funny because you had gone with a dark grout. It would look funny had you not. But just kind of watch that as a homeowner. That has nothing to do with them. But just make sure you watch that over the next few years. And if you see it start to crack, then you want to do something about it.
I do feel like they should have told us this stuff.
Yeah, well, that's something that most people won't tell you. I mean, my father and I got into an all-out yelling brawl because, I learned most of what I know from my father, and we were flipping houses, and I said to him, I said, no, you don't grout that, because I was grouting the bathroom, and he's like, why did you miss that whole seam? And I said, you caulk that. No, you don't. No, you don't. And like, we're both very stubborn. So like, there was this huge argument and stuff. And like, I pulled up references to professional tilers showing him like, look, it's not, you don't do it like that. That's old school. So, but again, it would look funny because you're not going to get a caulking that matches your grout perfectly. Even when you have color matched caulking, it's never exactly the same. It's two different materials.
Yeah.
So, but just keep an eye on that.
I just feel like in the long run, we're going to be disappointed, especially since it is the kind of thing where the company came highly recommended. So we didn't go and get multiple quotes because we were like, we'd rather spend more and have a reliable experience that goes seamlessly.
Well, but here's the thing. You're going to find out how good of a company it is because the guy who did the tile isn't the guy you hired. That's the guy that they hired. And it isn't always the same guy. I mean, no different than us. Like we specialize in masonry. We do block and brick and concrete, and we do it really, really well. But if we then are also doing wood framing, we got to go hire a guy that does wood framing.
So the guy that did the initial tile work, he came out and he was doing it. He was working his regular 9 to 5, like his regular 8 hours a day, and he was doing our stuff after hours.
Right, but his regular 9 to 5, he works at McDonald's.
He was doing so, but so the thing is, we're like, as Kay was saying, she's like, so like I feel like we're getting him when he's already tired because he's already been doing tile work for 8 hours a day, and the tile work was done over the course of 6 separate days.
But here's my problem with that.
So before let me because so he finishes. We don't like the niches as they're going in, but we don't know at what point they're going to be done because there's a couple examples we had passed, and one of them had an additional like layer of tile around it that gave it like a raised look. So when we saw this metal trim, Kay's like, well, maybe that's like the thing that creates like the water seal around it, and there's going to be another piece on top. So it wasn't until he said, okay, guys, I'm done. Good luck with the rest of the bathroom reno. And he took off that we went up and like, okay, this is the finalized thing. And also like the company had been in to see, like the contractor had been in to see the work that was being done over time and never said anything. So when it came down to it, it was like, we don't like the way this looks. So the owner of the tile company came back to fix the stuff. And so they start putting X's on the tiles that need to be replaced because they're on crooked and all that type of stuff around the niches. And he had also missed a section of tile behind the toilet. And there was inch-long gaps in the grout where there was just no grout. So it wasn't just bubbles where like, you get those little tiny pinholes. There were full on like 2 to 3 inch lengths in between tiles where there was no grout. So the owner came back and did the work and like apologized for the inconvenience and stuff like that. But then on the way outside to K, if you guys had gone with like a white grout though, I wouldn't have even come back here because it would have like covered up a lot of the imperfections and stuff in case like other than
white grout would have hidden a lot of the flaws, but that's still not.
And Kay said, well, Kay said like other than the fact that there was grout missing, the tiles were put on crooked and there was tiles missing behind the toilet. So
this was a picture that I shared with James. This is how a DIY TikToker does his niche in tile without a border. And because the company was telling James, oh, you can't do it that way. You can't do it that way. You can't. Well, yeah, there it is. And I've done tons of bathrooms like this.
And the example that we had sent had, like in our case, it would be the white tile coming in like this. And then the tile on the wall of the niche is cut to line up with the lines and then like almost like a 90-degree like this. So it looks almost like a single piece going in.
Yeah, I have that picture that you sent me. I will pop that up in just a second here.
Anyways, I like the company we put out feelers asking for companies, and we got other companies like 1 or 2 recommendations. They got 13 recommendations in the first hour, including a local business like reaching out and being like, hey, we just had them redo our bathroom and we couldn't be happier with it. I highly recommend them. So,
but again, the company might be fine. They just hired a bad sub.
Right.
They hired a guy that was tired from working his 9 to 5 at McDonald's, and then
right. So you think then they would come and be like, this isn't done right. We're going to get it redone.
Well, you'd think, but that costs them money.
Yeah. So
this was the picture that James sent to me of what he was actually looking for. Now, I got to be honest, this picture looks a little photoshoppy.
Now that you've got it blown up there, it kind of looks like it was edited. Like, but there are other, like that was as an example. We had other pictures that were definitely
but I mean, I've seen work like this. The reason that this looks photoshopped to me is that there's no thickness to the tile. Like there's literally no gap between the tile when it turns the corner.
Yeah.
So, and you do run into an issue depending on the tile itself, because not like you have a white tile, but it's not white all the way through. It's usually brown inside because it's clay. So like you have to be able to, you got to.
No, it's the beauty is literally skin deep on them.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and actually, if you go and pick up a lot of tiles that have texture on them and look, they're printed.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like inkjet printed.
And here's the other thing that Kay noticed today too. So the owner of the tile company came over and ripped the tile, not the back tile, but like the border tile out of the niche.
Okay.
And redid the bordering around it. They didn't have enough of the green tile that originally made up the border to do it. So now it's done in white because otherwise it was going to be a long wait for us to get more tile to fit it because it was a special order. And like they didn't realize they didn't have enough tile until after they gutted it. So like what was there was no longer going to be waterproof. So we were going to be without a functioning shower again for an extended period of time. The tiles on the bottom of the bottom niche. So there's 2 tiles that make up like the bottom ledge. the ones like this, the other one is like probably 4 millimeters or 5 millimeters higher than it, so that when you put a bottle or something on it, the bottle actually sits. And if it's a lightweight bottle, it'll fall over.
It leans out
No, it leans like
side to side.
there's a height difference on the edge of where the tiles meet up. Like,
Oh, okay.
so it's not a like a smooth ledge. In case like I don't understand how that happened. I said, well, it's pretty simple. They came in and took the tile out of the niche, and they took out as much of the mortar or whatever you want to call the material that goes underneath the tile as possible,
Thin set. Yeah.
and then smooth some new stuff on there. But like it's not a new niche box. So like the box is going to be damaged from the chipping because it's like it's like almost like a foam core or whatever. I'm like, so there's just more material under one than the other, and
But they should have built up. They should have put more thin set underneath there until it was leveled. Is it going to trap water now?
I don't know, because we haven't had the point where I can put a handful of water in it to see what happens. When they were originally done, I said, look what happens. I took a handful of water, I jumped in, and it all ran to the back corner.
Yeah,
And
that's completely unacceptable.
so he said, oh, well, most of it runs out, but it's because of this border, blah, blah, blah. And, like there's a 2 to 3 degree difference. It's like not discernible to the eye, but anyways.
My gosh, James, this hurts my head so bad, man.
Yeah. So like, anyways, it's been a not good experience. I've managed to keep my patience because I also know that like blowing up isn't going to fix or address the issues. You know what I mean? Like it's just, but like,
Right,
I don't know what to do. I feel like we did everything right and we didn't try to nickel and dime over anything.
No, but you're still holding the winning hand, and that
Yes.
is the remainder of the payment.
And I've said to Kay at this point too, I am tempted to get find a Tyler to come in and look at it and say, like, basically, can you give me a report onto whether or not stuff is right or wrong and what should have been done? So I can go back and be like, look, I had an independent come in and say they've got no skin in the game. I'm not paying them to do the work. They're saying this is what's been done wrong. So you tell me that you guys are right or they're right. In case, like, at the end of this, I'm gonna say to the owner, are you proud of this work? Because we're going to be posting pictures of it and saying, our work was done by you guys. Do you want this as part of your advertisement?
Yeah.
But that actually won't happen because I'm not going to go public with anything and rock the boat because I don't need that. You know what I mean? It's
again, that's where you and I differ because I would be just slamming these people all over the place.
It's I can't explain stuff, but it is a little more complicated for me. It's not just me not wanting to rock the boat.
Yeah.
It's splashback that could happen towards my stuff.
Yeah.
If you don't live in the state of Canada and you want to come visit the state of Canada, if you had a DWI, Canada will not let you in. I have heard that before. Yes, that
Really?
Yeah.
Man, you Canadians are tough, man. I personally have never had a DUI or a DWI.
It is the same way the other way around. You can't visit the States from Canada if you've got a DUI. You have to get it pardoned before you can cross the border.
Yeah, we don't want your drunken Canadians coming down here. Oh, wow.
Anyways, so I've not mentioned their name in the off chance that they're one of the 60 people that watches this stream either live or in. It's just Kay says like they gaslight us on stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's I believe proper use of the term gaslighting.
I want to see because I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've been in this shower. I want to see how I did this shower. Yeah, I framed this one. I should. I'm gonna take a picture of this shower. I've actually never showered in this shower. Oddly enough.
I've never taken a shower.
Well, I've taken a shower, just never in this shower.
Or farted in my hand.
I don't know how much of this I can get.
Also, can I express my frustration that it's been now 3 days since I've been able to take a proper bath or shower because of the phases that this stuff has been done in?
Say that again. I couldn't hear you. I was around two corners.
It's been 3 days since I've been able to take a proper bath or shower because of the phases that the work's been done in.
Yeah.
So they were there Monday, and they did the initial redoing of the tile work, but no grout. Hold on. What are we today? Thursday? Okay,
Thursday.
sorry. So Tuesday they were supposed to do the tile work, and the guy was supposed to show up to do the tub repairs. The guy showed up and did the tile work. Obviously, couldn't do the grout work because he has to wait for the tiles to set before he starts grouting. And then the company says, "Hey, the guy that's supposed to do the bathtub repair can't make it today. He's going to be there Wednesday. So can't use the bathtub Tuesday because the tile's fresh. Wednesday, they come in and they do some resurfacing on the tub. And so you can't use it for 24 hours after that.
Right.
And then today, they finish doing the grout work and put the silicone on. So again, we're 24 hours after that.
Oh, yeah. With silicone, 72 hours.
Oh, they said 24.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Well, of course you want that. You want that silicone gone anyway.
Well, and so here's the snag: we don't have another way to bathe at this point.
Yeah.
We've gotten rid of the temporary bathtubs. So that's beautiful. If they had done a trim around like that, I would be super happy.
Yeah, that's a bullnose tile, and I picture framed it. And then now that niche is actually a prefab product.
Our niches are prefabbed as well.
Well, but this one's plastic. It's a ABS plastic, and the shelf is free floating, and you set it wherever you want to.
Ours came like that as well.
Yeah.
But they told us the shelf was if you put it was more for if you had it as a divider and it was rotated 90 degrees, so they didn't recommend using the shelf. Oh wait, hold on. No, okay. Ours are rotated 90 degrees from that. Ours are wider than they are tall. So I understand their statement now.
I got you. So your niches are sideways.
Yeah. So they're saying there's no reason to divide it.
Yeah. Well, I did this, so that way you could put like shampoo bottles on the top and then like a bar of soap or whatever on the bottom.
I am reading your comments, Brian. I haven't had to decide how to politically respond to a lot of stuff because, like, they've basically completed the work, maybe not up to what we were hoping, but they've completed this point. So firing them would probably result in us still having to pay them for the work that's been done. So then hiring somebody else to finish it, it's just gonna, and this is already, we had a budget and this is like $5,000 over what we had originally budgeted.
Yeah.
Also, the vanity was broken. I don't know if that's like, that's not their fault. There was a manufacturing defect. It looks like it was not whatever. We got the new vanity today. It is a more expensive vanity than what we originally got, and like they upgraded it free of charge or whatever. But that was just a bit of the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
I also, like, just to make sure, I asked them today, where did you guys vent the dryer? Because I don't see any new holes in the front or the side or like the softening on the house. So I'd like to know where it's venting to so that I can continue to clean that duct, because we clean the dryer duct once a year with one of those tools.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I do have one person I know that had the horror story of them venting their dryer into their attic.
Into the attic.
Yeah, because there's a box that you can get if you need to vent your dryer inside your house that captures moisture. So,
right.
So they put one of those at the end, except for that box is designed that you're supposed to empty it in between uses. So it pulls the moisture out. Yeah. So it just continued to dump the excess water because they were doing like 6 or 7 loads of laundry a week into the insulation.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but it blows all the lint into your attic, which is a fire hazard.
And that's the other thing too, is that it's supposed to filter that out, but those things until it eventually get loaded and then stuff gets blown out through the, there's the little holes in the side of them.
Uh-huh.
So, because my grandmother had one, they had no way to vent her dryer because her laundry room ended up being like in the center of her house, and there was no way, because of the way the house was constructed, to vent it outside. So they put one of these filtration boxes on it. But it's like, okay, you finish the load, you open it, you dump out the moisture, and also that room would heat up because all the hot air is going into the room around you. But
So what was their answer to that question?
he doesn't know where it's because they had another company do the venting for it. He said he would get me an answer back in the next day or two.
Yeah, don't let that die either. You definitely want to like start writing out your own punch list. Every little thing, everything that you find that you don't like or that you want an answer to, just keep it in a list. So
Because we're saying there like things that we're happy with. The new vanity, the floor looks beautiful. The heated floor works well. The new lighting fixtures are great. But the bathtub area is just
yeah, they obviously brought in the wrong subcontractor.
Yeah, like, and the tub repair is anyways, I'm not going to get into any more of it. The stream's almost over.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time.
Chris Alton said that the Holy Spirit will guide you through your renovations, and I'm thinking where the Holy Spirit is needed is with this company. James has held himself pretty well. I think I would have already lost it on these people, and James is holding it pretty well. So
I've had
Brian,
conversations with friends as well, and definitely family members that say, I'm praying for you with this, and I say I would like God to put his power towards people that need it more, because if the worst thing that happens into my life is that we have a renovation that doesn't go the right way.
James, God doesn't work that way, man. He can cover everybody at the same time.
Maybe.
Brian said, so Glenn, the question is, what do you think James should do moving forward? Do you think he should fire these people before they get worse, or just not pay them until they get exactly what he wants?
So we have to keep in mind that the work is essentially, from an overview point, 99% done. Like, other than the waiting for stuff to dry, they're ready to say the work is done.
Well, and how I was going to answer that question is that I can't answer that question for James, but I'm going to tell you, as a person who works for a professional construction company, like to the general contractor level, we are licensed general contractors in 3 states. So like, we're there. I know how this stuff works. You do not ever, ever, ever pay for a construction job before it is completed and before you are 100% happy. They're going to demand some money up front. That's fine. They got to cover their materials. A lot of money goes into materials. But I'll let you in on a secret. Chances are 1/3 of whatever you're paying is materials. The rest of it is labor and fluff, like profit.
Yeah.
So they usually ask for 50% up front. There's
So
no
I
problem
paid-
with that.
Yeah, I paid 50%. So I'll give the quick rundown. We paid 50%. And then as some of the tasks have been completed, they said, okay, like this task is completed. Here's the bill for like the heated floor. They finished it. So here's the other half for the heated floor. So it was all incremental, essentially.
Scheduled, yeah.
Yeah. But we do still have a bulk of what was left not paid. Like,
yeah.
we still owe a 5-digit amount.
Yeah, even then you got to be very careful, because a lot of companies will, like, they'll just kind of nonchalantly keep, like, oh, well, this is done now. We need the money for this, and this is done, until like you don't have any more leverage. So you have to hold, depending on the value of the project. Like when we do a project, like when we get hired to build a hotel, they hold 10% of our money. Well, 10% of $1 million is a lot of money. But if it's a $5,000 project, 10%, they could just wipe that and walk away. So depending on the value of the project, you got to hold a certain amount of money, but you always hold that money, and you don't ever sign anything saying that you accept the job, that it's complete, that blah, until you are 100% complete. I'm not aiming that towards James. I've given him this advice. I'm just sharing what I know working in construction. So even though I sit at a desk and color black and white pictures, that's the new way that I describe my job. I had a bunch of IT stuff that I wanted to talk about tonight to get some advice, but we are out of time. So I will hold that for the next stream.
Week.
because I know that there's a lot of geeky technical people that watch these streams, and like I have a couple of situations. The company that I work for in-house, like the employees, it's not huge. I maintain about 25 devices, plus all of their accessories and peripherals. But there's just certain things that you get with growing pains with a company, and so I was looking for some advice there, but it's okay. We didn't get there. Gives us something for next week. Anything to plug, Mr. James?
No, not really. I haven't. I'm working on multiple projects right now, so I'm trying to like get into a schedule. But I ended up with a migraine this week, and unfortunately, when migraines happen, it usually delays me a week.
Yeah, I get them. I'll get one, and then I get a reoccurring one the next day, and it bogs me down for a few days. Tony Ryan said we wasted too much time on the poo bucket at the top of the street.
Yep, that's true. And yeah, Duff's statement is unfortunately correct. It's like they're 98% done. I can't, like, if I cut them, and they take me to court, I'm gonna have to give them all of it, and then it's just gonna cost me extra. So I got to try and get it fixed this way. And if we're not happy, then
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, at this point, because of the amount of work that's been done, you wouldn't want to fire them. You could put a cease work order, telling them, listen, I want you to stop. Do not do anything more, and then you take them to court instead.
Yeah.
But that's just going to get.
We're not there. Like at the end, the bathroom is going to be, I'm confident, like usable, and like the people that we've shown pictures to and stuff, they're like, that looks beautiful. It's like, and like, I'm not saying we're being nitpicky. I'm saying
I
that,
am.
Yeah, you're saying that I'm being nitpicky. Are you frozen? You're frozen again. Come back, Len.
Am I back?
Now you're back, I think.
No, I'm saying that I'm being nitpicky, not you.
No, but are we being, like, you've seen it? Is this nitpicky stuff, or is it like I would pick that out in at a glance right away?
No, again, I think that you're handling this very well. I would have exploded a long time ago. At the moment I watched the guy cut a piece of tile with an angle grinder, I'd have been like, nope, we're done.
So when the owner came over and he was cutting tile, he did it with a proper tile saw. We still ended up with chips and in the white tile around it, and I'm like, I don't know what you would do to prevent that then. And like he had warned us too that it was
use a newer blade. He's probably using a blade that's worn out, or he's cutting it too fast.
I don't, and this is the problem too. I don't know anything about any of this stuff, right? So like, I'm being, because like as we were saying, well, like, you know, these chips are showing, and it's like, well, you know, that's why you go with like a white grout, because the black grout's getting into these chips and highlighting them. And when we were going through, and he's like, okay, which tiles do you want replaced other than the ones I've got X's on? I'm like, well, this one's got chips and this one's got chips. And he's like, well, the new ones are going to have small chips on them as well. Like we're not going to be able to eliminate that completely.
They're not taking their time. They're more worried about getting it cranked out. They knew you were putting black grout in there. Therefore, they should have been cutting those tiles knowing there was black grout going in there. I mean, I understand what they're saying. Yes, when you cut a tile, it does chip the edges.
Yeah.
But if you go slow and you use a new blade, and a new blade is like $35. It's $35 US. But you know, I don't know. We could have 2 hours on this. Anyway, just stand your ground. Just stand your ground. It's all going to be okay in the end.
Kay's actually been the one doing like the more like heavy pressure stuff, because the other thing that keeps happening is they schedule stuff. I arrange to make sure that I'm home at that time, and then they postpone it. But I can only work from home a couple of days a week.
So here's what you need to do. You need to tell the owner of the company, the guy that you hired, you need to say to him, going forward, anytime that you schedule somebody to be here and they're not here, you owe me $125 per hour of time that I've lost. And you need to start reverse billing them, because your time costs money as well.
Yeah.
So you say, listen, you know, and give them some examples. You know, you told me this, you told me this, you told me this, they haven't shown up. I have lost this much of my time I've had to make sure that I was away from work. I'm risking my job for this. You owe me $125 per hour where you inconvenience me going forward. You can't back bill them for this, but you just let them know ahead of time. I'm going to bill you $125 an hour or whatever you feel your time is worth. That's an arbitrary amount that I just pulled out of the air, but so James is worked up. You can see it in his face.
I'm just tired. I got like very little sleep last night.
I
I've
know.
been up for, can I even do the math? 19 hours? Doesn't
Yeah.
seem like a long time, but like
No, it is.
when you start with less sleep and then
Because you've been awake 19 hours, but you only had this little bit of sleep, and then you were awake 16 hours before that. So
and to top it all off, because you'll know how this is, I had a migraine yesterday going to bed, like a
Oh.
full blown couldn't keep my right eye open migraine.
nice.
Like Kay and I had to go out, and I was driving, and then we got back, and she's like, "Should you have been driving?" I'm like, I like kept my right eye closed, my left eye was not blurry, but like, I'm like, we had to drive 5 minutes away. She had an appointment and needed me to drive her. So
the answer to that question was no. You shouldn't have been driving, but
no, well, like I never felt like I do want to reiterate. During this stuff, I was uncomfortable, but I didn't feel like I was going to have trouble controlling the vehicle or seeing or anything like that.
yeah,
I would never put myself in a situation where I thought I was endangering myself or others.
no. Well, I say that, but it's not like I've not ever driven while I had a migraine.
Yeah.
And my vision
Okay.
is always affected during migraines. So, but so anyway, I have a video edited and ready. The only thing that I have to work on is the closing, and I'm not sure how I'm going to close this one because I filmed it in a very different manner than I've ever filmed anything else. But should I be able to put that together, which I'm pretty sure I will, that will be coming out Sunday at 4 p.m.
Sunday.
That's when it'll release. Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, because that's what TubeBuddy tells me, and that's why they get paid the big bucks. So definitely watch for that. That's on the Garage channel, by the way. And I got to make a thumbnail. Oh man, I hate making thumbnails.
Well, big thanks to everybody that stuck around for tonight's stream and didn't ditch us for the Chris Riley.
Yeah, all five of you, and a bigger thank you to Gene. Thank you, Gene, for the $100.
So much appreciated.
It is absolutely appreciated.
We don't do it for the money, but we appreciate it when it's there.
Absolutely. I mean, I do it for the fame, and that isn't there.
So, that's a very Xander thing to say. And also, if you're still watching and you haven't clicked the thumbs up, you can make Glenn's day so much better by doing that.
Absolutely. It costs you absolutely nothing to click that little, and it really does. It really does help the channel. And I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody that's in the chat right now subscribes to the channel. But if you're, if you're watching this later, or if you're in the background and I don't know you're there and you're not subscribed, it costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. So it takes like just 1 second, click. You don't even have to ring the bell for notifications. Like, I don't care about that. Just click that subscribe button because it does help tremendously. Oh, real quick update. Garage, in fact, two more in the last 30 minutes. 473. So,
very nice.
Super excited. It's I don't know. It's growing, and that's just ridiculous to me. I love it. So lots of content coming on the Garage channel. I'm not even sure how I'm going to pay for all this content.
And thanks, Brian. The over budget is on us. We did opt for like upgrades and stuff like that. Like we went in with this is our budget to do it. They came back with a quote, and it was like, you know what, let's go with it because they're so highly recommended. Like, let's not nickel and dime. Let's make sure it's done right the first time.
Right.
And no. Okay.
But
Anyways,
anyway,
let's wrap it up before I get back into it.
At 9:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm here to say thanks to each and every one of you, because without you guys, these streams would be absolutely useless. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you simulcasting over to Chris Riley and still hanging out with us. I did see some people over there on Chris Riley's stream that should have been here that weren't, but I'm gonna let it
It's not
slide
you.
this time.
Yeah, because they're paying for that. So
Thank you all for being here. Most likely we'll do it again next week. Watch the Twitter for the notifications on that. Obviously, if I schedule the stream, you'll also get the notification that way. But I don't think there's any reason we wouldn't stream next Thursday, so we'll do it again, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until next time, as always, print on.